Hello, welcome to Storybook Crafts. Today we're gonna make a book, and this book is inspired, at least the cover of this book is inspired by the book Jump at the Sun, which is a biography of Zora Neale Hurston, written by Alicia D Williams and illustrated by Jacqueline Alcantara and published by Atheneum Books for young readers. So, one of the most common questions I get about the library is, do you make books? We're going to make a little book today. This is a sewn book, and it's a pretty basic construction, but it takes a little extra effort. So follow along with me to learn how to make this cute little book that hopefully will inspire you to record all your stories, just like Zora Neale Hurston did. So the cover of my book commemorates two themes from the book Jump at the Sun. Of course we have the sun, and we have this purple hat. On almost every page of this story, you'll see a hat, at least one, sometimes many. And Zora's hat in the book looks a little bit like this, slightly lighter purple, but she wears this hat when she leaves home and ventures out to jump at the sun, like her mama told her. And one of the last things that the book mentions is that she made books. So we're going to make one too. What do we need for this? Starting out, we're going to need some packing paper. This is the paper that comes in packages that get delivered to your door. Oftentimes it's crumpled up. Unwrinkle it a little bit, straighten it out, and the nice part is it's usually got these perforated sections, so you can carefully break away one section of the paper. If you don't have this kind of packing paper, this is a nice long piece, you can use a paper bag or two. Use your imagination. Nice long strip of white paper. This is just basically we're reusing some paper that was used for one thing, giving it a new life, new purpose. So I'm using this packing paper. First ingredients. We will also need some string. The string I have here, this is embroidery floss. Any kind of yarn, string, ribbon, anything like that will do. Something thin that you can get some tape around. No needles necessary for this sewn book. This is about the length of my arm. So if we go up my arm there, it's about the length of my arm. So make sure it's a nice long piece. And we'll need a little tape just to put at the edge of our string. We will also need some scrap paper, partly for our mess mat, partly for our decoration. So a little bit of scratch paper, any color will do. A hole punch, some scissors, and some glue. I'm using a glue stick today. Any kind of glue is fine. Glue stick works really well for those decorations. And if you are going to make the decorations for the front of your book, then the colors I used were purple, orange, and yellow for the hat and the sun. Let's get started. So how are we going to construct this book out of this one piece of paper? We're going to start by taking the whole length of paper and folding it in half. So spread out your paper and fold it in half lengthwise, the long way, as close to the edges as you can get, right in half. There we go. Give it a nice press on that halfway mark, because that halfway mark going a long way on the paper is going to be one of our cutting marks. And if it is not exact, that is okay. Notice on my finished book here, pages are all a little bit uneven. I made it to look kind of like an old book. So it is okay if it is not exact, your folds. All right, we folded in half lengthwise. Let's fold it in half again. Ooh, we've just made fractions. We just made a quarter, 4 quarters. All right, so there we go. We fold it in half again. Let's do it again. Fold it in half again. And give those edges a nice press there to make that crease. One last time. Fold your paper over. So you'll end up with sections that are each about, depending on the size of your packing paper or bag, whatever you're using. find my inches here. There we go. These are about 2.5 by 4.5 inches. About. Around that size is great. We're making a small notebook. We've got our folds. Let's unfold most of the way. So we're going to unfold to here where we have half of our paper. Okay? And we're going to cut right here, right along this line as the paper is folded. Let's go ahead and give that paper a cut right along that section. We've got 2 pieces here. Open them up. Okay, so we've got 1 piece, lay them right on top of one another, and you'll see all the sections there. When we open it up this way, it's a lot easier to cut everything. So we've got our middle section. We can line those up, and we're going to cut right down that middle line that we created with our crease. Again, if it's not exact, don't worry. We want this to look like an old book anyways. So if they are a little off, if your cuts and edges are a little off, that is totally okay. Right down the center. Ooh, we've got 4 sections now. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Nice big sections. We're going to cut them up into smaller sections. So using those creases, kind of give it a little fold to just reinforce where you're cutting. Use those creases that you made when you folded and just cut right along those creases. These are going to be our pages. Go. All right, we just cut one big piece into lots of little sections here. Give them a little tap on your surface there on your desk to bring all the edges just about to where they meet. If your hole punch is big enough to get through all of these papers at once, then go ahead and punch away all in one section. I'm going to do this in 2 sections. I'm going to kind of section this in half. My hole punch is kind of small. So I'm going to make 5 holes in my hole punch. We don't have to measure, they don't have to be exact, but I like to start at the edges first and then work my way towards the center. We need 5, so I'm going to start with 1 hole on one edge, 1 hole on the other edge, 1 hole in the middle, and then 2 in between. This is the long side of my papers. So I'll take my hole punch. Let's go for our first hole and second hole, middle, and then 2 in between. They come out pretty even. Take one of those pages, lay it on top of your other stack if you separated these in half like I did so that it was easier to get your hole punch through. Now you know exactly where to punch the other pieces. One ingredient I forgot to mention. It's a pencil. We're going to need that next. So let's make our holes here, measuring them up. Ooh, it's a little tough, that one. Okay, I'll let it go. I'll come back to it. Measuring them up with paper I already had. There we go. That's why I separated it. A little tough. And 2 more holes to go. This last one that was hard. I'll punch a few of those out. That'll make it easier for my hole punch to go through. There we go. Last hole. Okay. So how do we line up these 2 stacks? We know the holes are in the right places because we used one of the pages to measure them up. But getting them all back to right where they should be, just use a pencil. Kind of poke a little pencil through each hole. That'll line them back up and you're ready to sew. And keep that pencil handy as you bring your thread through. Oops, there we go, I already bumped it. As you bring your thread through, or if you bump it by accident, just keep your pencil handy so that you can reinforce the placement of those holes. All right, now let's get our string. Put a little bit of tape on one end, and I'll show you how to do that. I put any kind of tape will do. I'm using clear tape here, a little length of tape. Put it right at the edge, or sorry, the end of your string or your thread, and just fold it over a couple of times. If you want to make it really, really straight and nice and easy to get through your holes, then just cut off the edge with your scissors so you have a pointy end. Hold your paper so that the holes match up. Remember, keep that pencil handy if you need to match them up again. Start by threading under the first hole. So find the hole with your tape there, pull it through, and then thread it through the rest of the holes, going over and under each time. So we started going under, we're going back through. Here's where I need my pencil to find the hole, the next one, there we go. Going under again on that one, pull it up, come back in over, pull it through the bottom, and one more, that last hole in the bottom there. Let's use my pencil to get those holes, and put the thread through the back, coming up through the bottom, and pull it through the top. All right, go ahead and spread, just kind of pull that thread till you're about halfway, and we want a nice, generous amount of thread hanging off the other end. We want enough thread to go through again, but enough to hang off the end because we're going to tie. So we started those first holes going under. We're coming back now, coming back around, and I want to loop this thread. This was the end of my thread here. I want to loop it, and I want to go under. Oh, actually, wait. Backtrack. We started going under. We're now going over. So we're coming back and looping through these holes the other way. So here was our last thread from the last one, and I'm going to go over now into the second hole. All right, so we made a loop there at the end. There we go. So now we're filling up all these holes. I'll come back under on the other one, over on this one, and under the last. There we go. Okay. Nice. So we've got our thread all the way through. We can pull it all the way here. And now we're going to make a knot at the edge here to tie it off. To do that, let's see. We're going to pull it tight here. You know, I might like it so that there's just a small loop, and I can kind of hide it inside the book. So with the string coming over the edge of the paper, tie a knot with both ends. The tape can still be on there, nice and tight. Nice tight hole, or knot. Do a second one to secure it, pull it nice and tight, and we're done. I kind of like that string hanging down, so I'll go ahead and cut the edges where the tape was off. Boop. And our book is sewn together. Isn't that so cute? All right, time to decorate it. So if you'd like to put the sun on yours, go ahead and draw a sun on your scratch paper. Here's an easy way to do it. I have one piece of scratch paper here folded in half. And I'm going to take something round. I have this cute little orange here. I'm going to take this little round orange cutout and put it right on the halfway mark on the edge of my paper and trace around it with my pencil. There we go. That's half of my sun right there. I will go ahead and add some spikes to really make it look like the sunshine. There we go. And I'll go ahead and cut that out. I'm going to cut around the spikes, maybe cut a little lower so that those pencil marks don't show. I'm going to use the other side of this paper anyways, so my pencil drawings won't show at all once I'm done. There we go. spikes are almost cut out. Let's do the last two there. Okay. Open it up, and you have a nice bright shiny sun. You can use part of that scratch paper as a mess mat to make the sun that I had there on my cover. I drew an orange circle in the middle, colored it in, and then I took my yellow pen and went all the way to the edges of each spike there. And as you can see, as I draw my pen, my marker, my yellow one, through the border of the orange, I get a little bit of fading in there, some blending. So the orange blends into the yellow just a touch as I bring it through. Makes it look like a nice, bright, shiny sun. All right, there is our sun. Let's make that purple hat. This was just a paper cutout. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take that other piece of scratch paper that I had here that I used for my sun, and I'm just going to judge. A hat, it's kind of like, think of it as, at least this one's kind of like a fried egg. So let's get a good shape here. I'm going to use a triangle. Let's cut out a triangle, corner of our paper, the scratch paper, right? And let's go from, this will be the top of our hat, these will be the sides, and shape it out. Kind of make a dome here for the middle of your hat. We're making a big brimmed sun hat. So just shape it out with your scissors there. That's a pretty good shape to start with. And give it a little curve here so it's not so pointy at the edges. Give it a little floppiness by curving my scissors around. There we go, I got a nice sun hat. And I made the little ribbon just with a little piece of that scratch paper. Let's make kind of a U. So make a big U here with our scratch paper. And then make a little ribbon. So cut a little triangle out. There we go. Cut all the way into that U. All the way to the edge. Make the other ribbon by cutting a tiny triangle at the end. There's the edge of the ribbons. Okay, now we gotta color it purple. Use your mess mat and bring your purple pen all the way over the shape of your hat. Voila. All the way over the shape of your ribbon. I want my ribbon to go that way. So I'm going to color this whole ribbon, my mess mat here. And I'm going to color both sides. The hat, we just need to color one side. The ribbon, let's color both because we're going to bring it around the hat. So let's start with a little bit of glue. I'm going to turn my mess mat over there. Start with a little bit of glue on this ribbon. Here's where I like to use the glue stick. It goes really quick. Be very careful applying the glue to these thin pieces of paper. It's pretty fragile. So if it rips, no big deal. Mine ripped when I put it on my book. I just glued it right back on. All right, we're attaching the ribbon to the hat. So bring the U over the dome of the hat. Make part of the ribbon come off the other side there. Fold it over and let the other half of the ribbon come out that way. There we go. Now we kind of have a hat that looks like it is jumping at the sun. Let's glue it all on our book. All right, I put my hat down here at the bottom. Use your mess mat to get a little glue on the back of your hat. Carefully place it where you like it on your book. There we go. There's the hat. Same for the sun. Use your mess mat to get some glue on the back of the sun. Carefully pull it off and glue that to the front of your book. Last but not least, if you would like pages on the inside of your book, use that scrap paper. So you've got some scrap paper left over. If you have lots of it, you might like to add pages to every piece here, every page, a little white page inside your brown pages. I like the brown pages personally, but I did kind of like this front page, and maybe I want to do a back page that has a little white on it, so I could do little commemorative pages there with my name and date and things like that. So I used some more scratch paper. I cut out, let's see, I folded it into eighths, and I cut out 2/8 for those pages. Then I cut out one more, and I made it a little bit smaller. So this is how I got the line drawings on there. I made one a little bit smaller than the other, placed it right on top, took a thin felt tip marker to make some lines going all the way around the edges. And then I did a little detail in the corner. Boop. Get the dots in there. And then I glued that page. Looks like we have a little frame there. I glued that right in the front. And then for this one, I'm going to finish off my other book here. So that's the one we just made. Here's the one where I already have a page glued in the front. I'm going to put this one in the back. I'm going to put glue right on the back of this page. Ooh, it's all gluey. There we go. Don't need my mess mat for that because that glue is going on this page anyways. Put it right there. My book is done. There we go. I have this very sweet little book that I can document my summer with. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you check out the book Jump at the Sun about Zora Neale Hurston from the Alameda Free Library in any format you like. Have a wonderful time making a book, and take care. See you next time.